Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to another edition of the NoDQ Panel with Virtue and my esteemed guests, and I would like to introduce them one at a time. He is the owner of NoDQ, Mr. Aaron Rift. How's it going today?
It's doing great. I'm celebrating Rusev Day as I do each and every day, and I know you love Rusev, so I'm looking forward to this Rusev-inspired edition of Virtue's Rage, or whatever we're calling this.
Okay, well, we'll put that off to the side for a minute.
No.
Jexy, how's it going today?
Heyo, I'm good. I wish the temperature wasn't negative or 0 degrees, but other than that, I'm all right.
You need Vito over there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Vito, well, Jexy and I are in Ohio. You're in PA, so how's it going and how's your weather?
The weather is sucking heavily. I miss Florida tremendously, but I'm still on the buzz of my Christmas video that I'm sure you all watched and got a big kick out of, because I love being Mr. Potter. I've been doing that for years. He's my favorite character, and I know what you guys got out of it, and I'll just start the show off. So you want to be on podcast 1.
Yeah, everybody check it out. I'll retweet it, too, so you can check it on my Twitter line or Vito's Twitter line.
I heard that you were
great.
watching that all night. I heard you were dying laughing. I heard it was like you got the biggest role. Jexy was drinking, rum and cokes. Aaron there was having pina coladas. He said, "This is the best. I can't believe it. We finally got something good. It's better than Raw."
Actually, yeah. Virtue was rewatching the Rusev segment all night long.
Was he really?
All right. So, we got a lot to talk about today. And by the way, for our last video, thank you. Again, we keep getting big numbers and a lot of thumbs up. And, maybe that was because of the pay-per-view. But let's be honest, it was only Clash of Champions. So I think people are on to this NoDQ panel.
What kind of numbers did we get, by the way?
Over 6,000.
We had about... Yeah. So thank you, NoDQ Galaxy. I mean, you guys are the best.
6,000, you said?
Yep.
Almost 7.
Almost 7,000.
Yeah.
Does that mean we can compare to The Rock, the millions and millions?
And I'll tell you what, Vito, this video might beat that because, yes, at some point we will be talking about Rusev Day. What I want to start off with is WWE, since we're nearing the end of the year, what was the good, the bad, and the ugly of WWE in 2017. So I'll get it started. I mean, there's 3 categories. You have good and you have ugly, and in between where it's not so. Let me start off with something bad. So I don't want to go to either end of the spectrum. I'm going to start in the middle. Jinder Mahal. So I don't think he was that horrible this year, other than yes, he got a quick push to the WWE Championship. But I won't say that it was good by any means, especially since they basically pulled him out of being WWE Champion and he didn't even face Brock Lesnar. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts overall on where do you classify Jinder Mahal's 2017 run? I'm going to give, and we're going these 3 categories, good, bad, and ugly. I'm going to put it in the middle at bad. Jexy, I'll start with you.
For him, personally, I would say it was probably good. As for fans, probably bad, but it was a big year for him. He went back to the independents, he got called back up, and he ended up being champion. And for him, personally, it was good.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, because if you got to look at it from their perspective, too, he probably made the most money out of any single year of his career. So I actually like how you broke that down there. Aaron, what's your thoughts on Jinder Mahal's 2017?
Is ugly considered worse than bad?
Yes, so good is the best in this category. We're keeping it kind of simple. Bad is, it wasn't good. And then ugly is it shouldn't have happened.
Okay, well then I would say ugly, except for what Jexy said. It was very good for him. Obviously, he got the big push. He's making the big money. And good for him. He's working really hard. He deserves it. I feel it should have been done differently on a personal level. I feel like he should have been portrayed a different way, not as the stereotypical foreign heel. Let him be like how he was on that Talking Smack episode I like to reference. So yeah, it was pretty ugly, and I think people are going to look back at 2017 as the year of the failed Jinder Mahal experiment.
So, Aaron, if he came out before this run happened and said Jinder Day, would it be okay? I mean, well, I'm asking you that question.
Maybe if Aiden English sang it.
Interesting. Okay. And, again, we're going to tease this throughout the show. until we talk about that hot topic. Vito, thoughts on Jinder Mahal?
Okay. I am going to give him a lesser grade than that. I'm going to give him horrible. And I want you guys to follow along.
So is that worse than ugly?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the booking of the talent of the WWE, okay? I'm just talking the booking up, all the guys they bring up. Happy for him that he got re-signed. Great for him that he did his body over. Had the look. Great for him. He learned on the job to be and how to handle the top main event position. Okay? Now, they pushed him. Some of the angles with the Jinder Mahal boys, the Siege brothers, they should have let him be this kick-ass foreigner, like when Rusev came up, and be this monster. But they had the Stooges. And if you remember his beginning of his heel run, okay, it was the Stooges that were doing the ass-kicking and not him.
Yep.
He didn't have the right perception of getting his finish over. He muffed it a few times. He wasn't sure of himself. But as he grew into it, he grew into being a good main event wrestler. And this usually happens with guys who usually learn on the job. At the end of their run, they have their best matches. Now, horrible. They took the title off him. Heyman and Lesnar buried him for that match. That's why you got AJ Styles. He lost his title. He lost his rematch. Okay? Where do you go from there? You're only going down. Now they put him in the United States title. You already know they're pointing towards Bobby Roode. They're pointing towards Dolph Ziggler making a return, as I called, under a mask. And where does that lead?
That would, Vito, that would be, I heard you say that earlier, that would be very intriguing to me. The Miz did it about 2010, remember that?
Right, it was good. So that's why I say it could come back in a mask, win the title, and there he is. He's great. So they just doubled the title and made it even more significant. But Jinder Mahal's fall from grace. You can't go from main event. You're going for the U.S. title. You know you're not going to get that title. Where do you go? You're in oblivion. Yeah. So you're going to come off and you're going to wrestle a few different guys, and he's going to have a horrible finish, a horrible beginning to 2018. And I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in any harm. I could say he's on the possibility of maybe getting released at the end of 2018 after WrestleMania.
Shock me.
You know, Vito, I think he should have started when he got this push. Maybe it shouldn't have been, and Aaron and I have talked about this before. He should have been in the United States Championship feud. That should have been how he got pushed. And now the fact he went up to the top, now he's feuding in a tournament for the U.S. title, which is secondary. This shows WWE. Jexy, let's start with you. Since I started with something bad, I guess, overall, I guess that was a consensus. What was something good from WWE this year? Anything.
I would say the Mae Young Classic.
Nice pick. Now, let me ask you this. So, with it being a WWE Network special, have they implemented the Women's Revolution, maybe what the significance of the Mae Young Classic was, well into the main product? Because to me, the main roster women seem disorganized. Now, I know that we just heard the Royal Rumble news, but I don't think there's been any consistency other than with Alexa Bliss. So is it the Mae Young Classic was good on its own, or has it helped the females on the main roster, or maybe who could come up through the ranks?
I think all of that. It was good on its own as far as the tournament, and it gave a lot of what would be maybe unknown women's talent a chance to shine, and for WWE fans to get to know them. But it also does help the Women's Revolution because, again, it was something that had never been done before. And it does help bring up new talent. I mean, we see Kairi Sane already, and she's phenomenal. She's going to continue to get better. And it probably won't be long before she's main roster herself.
And I believe, I don't know how, I always mess her name up. Is it Shayna Baszler? Is that how you say it? She's I believe, she's debuting soon on NXT. So there you go. Okay, perfect. It's giving NXT some talent. Aaron, any thoughts on the Mae Young Classic being a good moment this year?
I feel it's like too soon to tell, because I think you need to see if these women that participated in that tournament actually become major stars. If WWE doesn't capitalize on it and push the women and they don't become big stars, then it feels like the whole thing was a waste. So I think it's still a wait and see situation. You know, the jury's still out on it, in my opinion.
Cool. And you know what? That makes absolute sense, because we might have to discuss this 6 months from now again, or a year from now. Vito, any thoughts on that? And then I'll let you pick your moment.
Okay. The Mae Young Classic, it brought a lot of young ladies into the spotlight. It gave some hope to the revolution of making some new women wrestlers. It exposed them in a positive and negative way for the people who were ready and for the people who weren't ready. But they tried to pick the best independent wrestlers at the time to make it good. But on a flip side, they did elevate some talent from NXT that weren't ready because they needed bodies. So I think the inexperience level was a factor, because you see it on the main roster. So, okay, it's great we're bringing in more women wrestlers and we're getting more women, but the inexperience, because they don't have that pedigree, and you can't teach everything you need to know at NXT. So it hurts them because they're not developing fast enough, and they're not giving them opportunity to, you know, if there was a women's tour and they could work every night on a women's tour, not just NXT, then would help them. If there were other places to go for them to go wrestle in territories, that would help develop them, develop their character, heel or babyface. But because it's in a rush thing, and it's economics, and there's no place for nobody to wrestle because the WWE is a monopoly, that hurts everybody, not just the women, but the men.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good and bad on this, and hopefully they will rectify this in 2018.
And I'm going to put that, Jex, in the category of good, because potential, you never know if a big star can come out of that. So I'm going to agree with you on that. Big Vito, do you have a good, a bad, or an ugly from 2017?
I have a good, and I want everybody to follow here. I have a good because you have Jericho's character was something of a revelation. Okay, we got the Alpha Club, Jericho, but this is the end of it. But from the beginning to the end, from, like I said, the list and Owens and Jericho on Raw, great thing. I thought Roman Reigns took another year to develop his character, to elevate him to be somebody that he could be main event status. I thought the elevation of Braun Strowman was good, that they put him in the picture, but they yo-yoed him up and down, okay? The good was that they got rid of Cena because people were tired of him and they did not want to see him. They wanted to see him turn heel, and he wouldn't want to do that. So he was at the end of his babyface run. He makes cameo appearances. Yeah. He's going to Hollywood. I thought the good is Brock Lesnar still holding the title because nobody can beat him, because nobody's believable enough. I thought the elevation of The Miz, to where his character elevated to where he did his moment with Cena at the pay-per-view. I think it was WrestleMania, guys. Was it? Well, I think it was, right? When he had, Maurice and Cena's wife there, Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought that was a great thing to elevate The Miz. The bad. I thought that they did not follow through on a number of talents to where they developed them enough to go and make the push. The Jordan thing is, wishy-washy. It was a bad angle to begin with, okay?
Vito, I don't mean to interrupt you. What are your thoughts, since he's now a tag team champion with Seth Rollins? And is he part of the Shield, or is he just there? Like, elaborate on him a little bit since you brought him up.
Okay. Now, remember what I think we covered this. Everybody has wingmen. Big Vito had wingmen, and I'm going to explain. Big Vito had wingmen with the Baldies, the Mamalukes, the FBI, the Slambinos, which is a group that we developed in Florida, right?
I like that name, by the way, the Slambinos. That was a good
group. Yeah. When you have good wingmen, That's what makes you. And some guys are leaders. Some guys are good wingmen. Jason Jordan is a good wingman. He's not, as we saw, he's not a front and center guy. He's part of a group. He's part of a tag team, like the Shield. The Shield, like you see Rollins and Ambrose, you saw their singles runs, but where are they most popular? In the Shield. Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family. Now you have the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers and Wyatt together, they're the Wyatt family. It's a great group. The New Day, if you put them as singles, they would not flourish as singles, but as a group, they're good. The Usos in a singles run, you could totally forget it. They are the Uso brothers.
That's a good point. I don't see either one of them being able to sustain it on their own.
I agree.
So now you have the bad with a guy who should have been built as a monster, but then he had a flippy floppy thing, Braun Strowman, where he went up to Lesnar, he blew up, messed up, ended a match. They brought him down. He's chasing these little guys. He's trying to get his steam back. Now he's in a program again. Now, we all know Lesnar's going to win this with Kane and Strowman, and Kane is going to take the fall for this. It's not going to be Strowman because he's the next big man in line. But I think another guy like, do you want to walk with Elias? A gimmick that was over the top. He lost to Jason Jordan. He lost his guitar. He lost his mojo. They brought him back. He had a great match with Roman Reigns. They fed him to Strowman. So he died. You can't come back from that. So what do? Finn Balor, I think, is overexposed and should go to 205 Live. He brings nothing to the table. Nakamura, another guy who was supposed to come in, and they have done nothing with him, and he is streamlining the mid-card line. So I think overall, with the guys who they have, they're not giving that final touch on, and they see they're hot-shotting them and then taking it away. And you can't build a product on that.
And Vito, so I'm going to, and Aaron, I do want to hear if you have a choice here. I'm going to take everything you said and sum it up into one ugly, and that's the creative and the writing. So a lot of that stuff, like when you say Elias, for the most part, I thought he was a good addition to the main roster in 2017. He's generating natural heel heat. I like that. I like how he diffused the CM Punk chants on Monday night, even though Cena riled him back up. So I'm going to say the creative and the writing have been ugly, and we can go back how many years. So, Aaron, do you want to elaborate on that, or do you have something in one of these categories you would like to discuss?
Well, I think the creative is an obvious ugly. Another ugly is the announcing. I have not been a fan of the announcing.
I had that right underneath
Specifically,
there.
Booker T has been really tough to deal with on recent shows. And as far as the good goes, Vito did mention the Usos. I think they've had a great 2017. I've been very entertained by them. And I think they're way stronger as a unit. I think breaking them up would be a huge mistake. And I don't see them breaking up anytime soon because they're red hot right now. And that's definitely been one of the highlights. And of course, my man Rusev.
So you want to talk about Rusev Day? All right, we're gonna segue that still a little bit later. We're making the people watch this whole video. There's a glaring good that none of us mentioned, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And we're each going to express our thoughts on him, AJ Styles. Let's be honest. When he came in, I believe, Aaron, was at the Royal Rumble in 2016. Yep. That was his debut. He had that initial first run in WWE. People were like, cool, AJ Styles is here in WWE. He had the program with Jericho. He lost at his first WrestleMania. But then he went on to become WWE champion. And I thought they took it away from him too soon. Obviously, they had the belt went to Cena, then it ended up eventually going to Jinder. I think, to be honest with you, what happened to long title reigns? I know we had CM Punk, how many days? 300 and whatever it was. Why couldn't AJ Styles have still been the WWE champion since he won it for that many days? So Jackson, I'm going to start with you. I'm hoping that nobody says bad or ugly for AJ Styles. I put him in actually great. What do you think of his 2017?
I would put him in phenomenal. I love everything about AJ Styles. He is a consummate professional. He's an amazing performer. And he has helped other talent have the best matches that they've ever had. You know, me personally, my opinion, when he was up against Brock Lesnar, he carried that whole match.
Yep.
If you go back and watch it, Lesnar did maybe a cumulative 4 moves in that entire match, but AJ Styles pulled through everything and just put it over the top.
Yep.
Same with Jinder. You know, and just the professional that he is when he flew 14 hours to come and fight Nakamura. That match, or I'm sorry, Finn Balor, not Nakamura. That match itself was tremendous.
Yeah, he went from Argentina to the pay-per-view, and then I think he wrestled on Raw because the meningitis was going around. Talk about a 72-hour. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that.
Glad you brought that up, Jax.
I think it's no coincidence that AJ showed up for that match with Balor and then a few weeks later wins the title. I think that definitely impressed the top guys in WWE. The fact that he is that committed and was able to do that.
And let's be honest, the junk they threw at AJ with that Ellsworth stuff in I think that was late 2016. When you are one of the top main event type guys and you can make something like that be forgotten, then that means you've made it. So, well, like to me, I thought that was garbage, but that was going back a little bit too far. So, Jexy, before I pass it on, did you have anything else to say about AJ and his phenomenal 2017? Aaron.
He's amazing.
I was entertained by the Ellsworth stuff. I thought it was enjoyable. I mean, it was clear to me that Dean Ambrose was the factor in that finish and Ellsworth winning. So, I mean, I knew in a fair fight, Ellsworth would have no chance of ever beating AJ Styles. So I was fine with it, and it was the heel getting, what was coming to him. So I was fine with it. I thought it was entertaining television. I don't really felt that it hurt AJ. But, yeah, getting back on topic here, yeah, AJ had a tremendous 2017, and, I think he's going to be Wrestler of the Year, Superstar of the Year on NoDQ.com for a third year in 2018, unless he gets injured or something. I mean, he's about to win it for the second year in a row on NoDQ.com. I mean, the fans love the guy. He actually got inducted into the NoDQ.com Hall of Fame this year ahead of Steve Austin. So that's how much the fans are into AJ right now.
You know what? It's amazing because it really tells me how we segued into, we used to have, and again, AJ is a wrestling factory, right? But he is an indie fan's wrestling type character, not like your Steve Austin. And let's be honest, that's what wrestling is today. It's the main event guys were pretty much mostly indie guys. I mean, you like your Nakamura's and your AJ Styles. So Vito, what are your thoughts? Where would you categorize AJ Styles this year?
Humble pie. I will explain it to you. When he came on the scene, he was AJ Styles. He came from TNA, from Japan. He's with the Bullet Club. He thought he was the next big thing. Everybody pushed him and said he was great. He came to WWE. You're playing with the big boys, okay? He won the title, all because Cena put him over. When he started to complain, which people missed, and Cena cut the promo, which was a shoot. You're over here, you're hot for 6 months, and you're here and you're complaining about a poster? Have they put him on a poster since? Absolutely not.
Well, he has been on a poster, but he's like way in the back.
Thank you. Okay,
well,
okay.
I think I'll give Vito the benefit of the doubt. He might not feature, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So when he complained about a poster and Cena says to him, you've been hot for 6 months. I've been here for 15 years, and you want to complain about a poster. And then he lost his title. He went into the angle with Ellsworth. It was a learning process for AJ Styles to mesh and play with the big boys. You didn't make it into WWE. You came from the outside in. And Vince McMahon doesn't like to use people from WCW, from TNA, and put them in the main spotlight. So he ate some crap. And they put him in some humbling positions, putting over James Ellsworth. If you don't think that's stuck in his ass, you are sadly mistaken. And if you thought that the program with him, even though it was entertaining, it was a lesson, guys.
Yeah.
Everything was a learning process. They had him go with Brock Lesnar. They put him up with stuff. They're having him work his ass off to teach him a lesson, to be humble, to accept it graciously. If you notice, his promos are not, I'm the face that runs the place. I'm happy to be here, and I'm the WWE champion. I am, you know what I mean? You can see the change in where his attitude is, and that's what everybody's missing, because everybody's on the outside. He's a great indie writer. He's just, no, you're in the WWE. You're gonna play their rules, and you're gonna go by what they want. It's the same thing with Samoa Joe. It's the same thing with Bobby Roode. It's the same thing with Austin Aries. And same thing with Sting. Same thing that happened to Kurt Angle. You're seeing them, they're all eating crap. And they have to accept it. Why? Because when you leave and you go to another place and you excel and you come back, they're going to go, okay, nice to have you. Then they're going to stick it to you. Now, some of these guys haven't been there. They thought they were big shit going on the other side. You come into our yard, now we're going to see how good you really are. You're not that good. You're always going to be second tier. You're not going to be main event. You're not going to be placed in the elite. You're going to be second tier guys. And if you left and came back, you're going to be treated even worse. Sting, perfect example. I'm Sting. I came here. You should have came 10, 15 years ago. Instead of being stubborn, you could have made a huger legacy, and you were one and done. That was it. Oh, my God, it's great to be here at WrestleMania. Oh, my God, I can't believe you're going to job to Triple H. Really? I think.
Do you think if he didn't get hurt against Seth Rollins, though, we could have saw another match or two out of Sting? I think we would have.
Yeah, but you guys would have got another match. They would have made him work. But they would have buried him like everybody forget when Scott Steiner was the biggest star in WCW and Goldberg was the biggest star in WCW, and they came over. And what happened to Scott Steiner when he came over? He jobbed for 7-8 weeks in a row to friggin' Triple H, and they made him look like crap. What they do to Goldberg the first time around, they made him look like that. The two main eventers in WCW. Yeah. What they do with Flair, okay? Ric Flair is Ric Flair, but he left. He came back. He left. He came back. And what they do, they made him the fool, throwing his jacket, dropping elbows, making him in it, taking a bump on a woman's slap. When this man has been in guys in there with Vader and Sting and Sid and Steiner and even Big Vito, because I slapped him around too. And you mean to tell me he's going to fall like a sack of shit for a woman? I'm not knocking women, but when you face and you're as great as Ric Flair and you make him that little. Come on, guys. There's a lesson there, and Vince McMahon is the master of lessons.
Well, Vito, those are a lot of good, bad, and uglies of 2017, and I'm very intrigued heading into WrestleMania because with the Royal Rumble coming up, there's usually two what they would call main events. Back in the day, you'd have the one main event, but now, let's look at when at WrestleMania 18, Jericho and Triple H went on last. That would have been considered the main event, but in their eyes, in most fans' eyes, the main event was Rock versus Hogan. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm intrigued to see who will go on last. Right now, on paper, we're probably going to get Lesnar versus Reigns. But then I think of AJ Styles. Will he finally get that spot? Will they? Because, guys like Chris Benoit went on last at a WrestleMania. Sure, it was against Shawn Michaels and Triple H. But I am interested to see if Vince McMahon, the WWE, finally give the fans a go-home match at WrestleMania, not what they're forcing them like a Roman Reigns match, but like an AJ match. So I'm very interested in that.
But
any early predictions?
Hold on. How could I going to say erroneous?
Go ahead.
Because how could you say AJ Styles is going to be a main event at WrestleMania when he's having problems main eventing on SmackDown? He's not main eventing on SmackDown. It's Owens and Zayn. So how could you put him on the top spot on a major pay-per-view? He's a bit player. He's a role player. He's going to fill out the card.
He was facing Mahal for one thing.
Everybody knows I advocate Roman Reigns, so I can't, it's going to be hard to say Roman's not going on last Mania. But AJ Styles, he's what today's fans, we all know it's that niche 2.5 million, whatever it is. They like guys like AJ Styles. They don't like Roman Reigns. A Strowman or a guy like that comes up, you get a little bit lucky, and
but
fans
actually like Finn Balor. You're erroneous again. Erroneous.
I say AJ has a 50% shot of going on last at Mania.
He's not going to go on last.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying last, Aaron, because in my opinion, that's the spot.
I think he'll be in the WWE title match, but I think Lesnar's match is going on last if I had to make a prediction right now.
We haven't heard from the woman's perspective. Bring it
Yeah,
in the
what do you
house.
think? What do you think on AJ? Will he go on last to Mania? Because, hey,
No
Lesnar's
pressure.
but Lesnar and Ambrose didn't go on last, maybe because Ambrose at a Mania, so Lesnar doesn't always have to go on last.
Well, maybe we could put AJ Styles and Kevin Owens together and they could go last. Probably not, but it'd be cool to see.
We got to see it all play out. That's the beauty of it, and different opinions are great. And I guess we just want to think maybe there's a chance that we can see something that we know WWE isn't going to force feed us. With that said, I want to talk about, and this brings up the perfect scenario here, Triple H. So as we know, Triple H and Stephanie are probably second, 2A and 2B in charge. 2A, which would be Stephanie, 2B, which would be Triple H, right behind Vince, in charge of WWE. With that said, we've talked about in the last video how Vince is exploring his football aspirations again. And it's insane. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But say he's a little extra busy this next upcoming year doing that. Will there be more Triple H involvement besides just what he does with NXT? Or is it going to be all Stephanie? Aaron, I'm going to start with you. Do you think Triple H is going to have a bigger role in 2018 with WWE, with Vince maybe having his other aspirations tying him up?
I would hope so. I mean, it could very well be Stephanie. Time will tell. But I'm thinking it'll be a little bit of both of them. And I'm hoping it'll be a good year. I mean, some people think with Vince doing the XFL stuff or whatever it is that it's going to be a negative without Vince around. But I think it will be a positive because it will change things up. Will it be for the better? That remains to be seen. I think it could go either way.
Do you think NXT is going to get any bigger? I mean, I know, I guess, bigger means if they get a show on USA Network. And what did that first show, Aaron, do? 800,000?
It did about 850,000, which was a good number, but I don't think it was good enough for USA Network to make it a regular series.
Jexy, any thoughts on what Triple H might do in 2018? Or Stephanie even?
Well, he's already heavily involved, probably more so than we give him credit for. But I feel like he's going to continue trying to develop not necessarily other territories, but other branches. They've talked about bringing a WWE to Japan. They've talked about doing it in India. They've talked about making an all-women show. And then with his work in the UK, along with William Regal, I think they'll probably continue to develop that. But I don't see why not. I mean, Triple H has a brilliant mind for the business in general, so I think it would be a smart move.
I haven't seen enough yet to believe that. Yeah, I mean, NXT is very, very good for an indie wrestling fan, but which is Triple H, he has a lot to do with that. Is that going to translate into a bigger scheme of things? Vito, thoughts on Triple H? Is this guy going to get ego, power hungry, and start ruling the world?
I think he's going to rule the NXT world. I think if he gets his channel going on USA Network, I think it'll be bigger if they get more tours for NXT. I think he's going to run it good. But everybody's forgetting the Shane McMahon factor here because he is the heir apparent. He is family, by blood. And you know what? If Triple H has his baby in NXT, Stephanie is running the Raw, which is not drawing great numbers. I think if they had a change of philosophy in the office with Vince stepping down, which it looks like he wants to, and go on a different avenue, because the wrestling business in a whole is not grasping the audience they want, and ratings have gone down, house shows have gone down, everything has gone down. Vince just stole $100 million in stock. Does that tell you something, fellas? Yeah. I need to get my money out. I need to go do something. There are a lot of things that are on the table. Maybe a change of philosophy and letting Shane run with the ball in 2018 might be the way to go. Fresh mind, fresh concept. Stephanie, Triple H have run this thing in the ground. Not to say they run in the ground, but you can't do any more than what you've done. So I think a fresh mind, clear out the Michael Hayes, clear out the writing team. What's to say, fellas?
I agree with that. Do you think Vince is burned out finally? Do you?
Yes. I definitely do. And you know what? When you're an old dog and you think you can't learn new tricks, maybe you get bored with the same thing. And I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to say it loud and proud. What happened to Shane McMahon decides, okay, we're going to do this, we're cleaning house, and we make an offer you can't refuse to Vince Russo. Creative mind. Not everybody likes him. Not everybody hates him. But you know what? When you look at what's on the WWE Network, where do you go look at? The old WCW stuff. You go look at the Attitude Era. You go look at the stuff that was interesting. And you go, man, that was good. That was good. I lived it. I participated in both eras. So, guys, what's to say there can't be a fresh concept coming in?
And I agree, Vito. They, if you had, it's like everybody's come back to WWE because Warrior came back, Savage got inducted, even though it was after he passed. And then we got guys like CM Punk who they just burned. Sorry, Seth Rollins, but he burned the bridge to the ground. And of course, the way Vince got burned out and wanted to go with new ventures to WCW, I don't think Vince McMahon forgave him for that. But then again, Vince could have went back in 2002. He's on record saying that he was almost back writing in 2002. I would love to see, just even if it's old minds, give them one more chance to see if they still have that magic. Because and it doesn't have to just be Vince. Granted,
guys,
some
do
of
you
these
know
guys
who was the brains behind that move?
Who?
Want me to tell you?
Which move? Vince going to WCW?
Vince going back to WWE.
Oh, and that even though it really truly didn't happen, but it almost did.
Now,
Who was it?
hold on, guys. Me and Vince are boys.
Yeah.
Called me up. Said, Vito, they offered me a job back. What do you think? I said, Vince, go test the waters. I said, go down there. What do you got to lose? You can use the job. Let's see how it's going to go. Right? He did go back. We talked about it. He went back there and he said, Vito, I couldn't do it because it was going to be the same old thing where Stephanie was going to be on top. Then it was Triple H. And then it was this. Then it was that. And they wouldn't let him write freely. When Vince was writing with Vince McMahon one-on-one, that's when it became good because it was only two people. Yeah. When you have 3 and 4 and 5 people, what do you get? Out of business WCW, too many chiefs in the kitchen, not enough chefs, too many people in charge. Just like the women's division, you could have a whole slew of women coming in a whole different direction. But unless there's one person like a Mae Young or a Fabulous Moolah who actually run it to be great, you ain't going to see it, guys. And you know what? If Vince was given that freedom, maybe it would be good. Maybe it wouldn't. But you know what? You don't know unless you try. Yep. And there's a mind that's creative and that has proven track record. Everybody could say whatever. It would be the hottest thread on the internet, on Twitter and everything. And then when Vince gets fired, you got something to bring up and all your ratings will go up because we're going to bring him up on the NoDQ show. Everybody, oh my God, they're talking about Vince Russo.
We need some buzz. We need some buzz. I mean, this year, the big negative, another ugly to go back to earlier, there hasn't really been that many buzzworthy stories this year. When CM Punk dropped that pipe bomb, that was something that was like the Attitude Era, that type of promo, and that broke my site traffic record when CM Punk dropped that pipe bomb. I want more stuff like that. I want some controversy and some buzz so, people can talk about it and tell their friends about it. Hey, you got to check out this show. There's just no buzz right now about anything in WWE.
All right, let's put a buzz out there. Jexy, what's your finish?
Is there anything that besides CM Punk, but anything that could be a big buzz for WWE, like a CM Punk pipe bomb or anything like that?
Not unless Ziggler actually quit for real, but I doubt it. Not that I can really think of.
Jexy, when we give you the mic, you got to drop something bigger than
that. There is.
Come on.
But Jexy, I'll pick you up here. To me, there is a buzz out there. And it would be the biggest buzz because of the way the niche fans are today and what they want. It's the Bullet Club in WWE, getting those guys to, even if it's a show.
I thought you were going to say Rusev Day.
They make a lot of money doing what they do. Omega, the Young Bucks, more than they do in WWE. But if those guys say, hey, let's do like a 6-month contract just to see what we can do with you with the big show, the big stage. I think WWE should do something like that because they have – Vito, you're shaking your head, but the fact is these guys are still getting attention. And their T-shirt sales are selling probably more than WWE T-shirts. You can't ignore that. You got to
But how could you say that? Honestly,
you got to give it a shot.
Again. No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because when you had AJ Styles, you had Luke Gallows, and you had Anderson, these guys came in like hot shots. They were dropping bombs on everybody. And then what happened? You're never going to be bigger than the WWE. Let me give you back your lunchbox. Thank you for coming. Here's the buffet. And where are Luke and Gallows now? Where are those guys? They're a couple of comedy guys. AJ Styles had to eat humble pie. Are you serious? Everybody in the wrestling community sees this. That's why these guys haven't come in. You think the Young Bucks are going to come in? Everybody's going to go, oh my God, oh my God. They're going to go for 2 months. They're going to get the title. They're going to drop it. And then they're going to use them like a bunch of choir boys.
Oh, wait. Hey, until we see it. I'd love to see it because there's two sides. You could see your failure and success, man. It would be great. It would be buzzworthy.
You are talking as a fan and not as a businessman. Because as a businessman...
Wait. I am a fan. And yes, I'm talking as a fan. But to businessman, the T-shirts are selling and they're not even working for WWE.
What happened to Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles?
I don't know if they were pushing merch like the Young Bucks were, though.
But they were kicking ass, and they should have stayed together like the Wyatt family. And these guys came from outside, and they should have been there. They should still be together. Back
to creative, though. You got guys like Gallows and Anderson and AJ. Could they even be bigger or more important if a guy like Vince Russo wrote for them or somebody that gets, you know what I mean? So I guess we can all tie our differences here to the creative sucks. And we're burying people that maybe don't deserve to be buried because of creative. With that said, Vito, it's time for the main event. And I have to because I want to start this topic by what is truly being over. And we just talked about, like, you know, me talking about the Young Bucks outside of WWE selling shirts at Hot Topic. To me, that's over. But I know it's, again, small pond, big pond. So, Jexy, I want to start with you. What is truly being over in wrestling? And I want we're going to look at Roman Reigns and the fact that he's pushed as a top babyface but gets booed louder than anybody I've heard in years. Then you had your guys like Daniel Bryan that start, with a yes chant. He became a top babyface, big superstar. And then I will wait for Aaron to bring up his point on this. What truly is being over?
What I've always looked at being over is crowd reaction. If you are a face and they are cheering for you, if you are a heel and they are booing for you, but at the same time, in the ring specifically, it's usually the heel's job to get the babyface over. Now, Reigns, does he get booed? Yeah, but that means he's doing his job and he's doing it very well because they're reacting the way that they're supposed to be.
Well, now WWE, from Vince McMahon's eyes, he's supposed to get cheered. He's supposed to be like Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin and guys like that. So why isn't that work? I mean, is Roman over or not over?
He is, because he's still getting a crowd reaction. And, we look at things sometimes we've called it X-Pac heat, which nothing against Sean Waltman because he's great. But you guys know what I mean when I say that, where people legitimately, they hate you. And it's not just like they hate your character and they're booing you as a heel. They legitimately don't like you and they want you to go away. That's different to me. But when the crowd is reacting and being involved, wrestling is not about the wrestlers, first and foremost. It's about the fans. So when they're involved and they have that emotional reaction to whatever it is, that's being over. You're generating a crowd response to what you're doing. They're not just sitting there, this is boring. They're not, disinterested.
So when the 205 Live guys are out there and it's crickets and everyone's sitting on their hands, that's not over. See, I agree with you. But let me ask you this, Jexy. Does a catchphrase being over make the wrestler over? Because then I'm going to segue to Aaron. Okay, so you do believe that. So do you think Daniel Bryan was already over before the yes chant? I do. I think he got the yes chant over. Now, the fact that he came up through the original NXT, he got fired and came back because of that tie choking incident. So he had some real heat with WWE. They pushed him as a U.S. champ. They put him with AJ Lee. There was a lot of good, Kane, Team Hell No. Daniel Bryan had a lot of really good stuff before he got that push. What people fail to realize on him, it's more than a yes chant, is the fact, remember he had that feud with Bray Wyatt? Then all of a sudden, because Batista's backlash of winning the Royal Rumble, that took a complete 180, and they pulled Bryan out of the Wyatt family, and that's when he got that huge push. Now, Aaron,
Yeah.
I want to segue the Daniel Bryan yes chant is completely different from the Rusev Day chant because I feel, I didn't mention this as one of the ugly. I think one of the ugliest moments of 2017, not Rusev Day. For the record, Aaron, don't call me a troll. I like Rusev from day one. From day one, when he came up out of NXT and he was pushed with Lana, he had Putin in his entrance video. He was the United States champion, undefeated monster. I like that Rusev. Now, you're going to say, Aaron, cliche, foreign heel gimmick. I get that, whatever. The fact is, I think that he should have beat Cena when he came out in a tank at WrestleMania 31. He should have won over Cena there. Okay, well, but he didn't. Whatever. Let's fast forward to 2017, Battleground. He should have beat Cena in the flag match. But it's John Cena. It's the American flag. We can't disrespect it. So, to me, the biggest burial of the year, the ugliest moment of the year, one of them is Rusev losing to Cena at Battleground. Now, yes, he goes out and he gets paired with Aiden English. And he makes up this Rusev Day chant, and it gets over with the fans, and they sell T-shirts. I don't think that means he's over. I just think that he got lucky because he was desperate, and he did a chant in an era of fans chanting whatever they want to feel good about themselves. Aaron, take it away here. I'm going nuts.
Well, there's so much to talk about here.
Rusev Day over.
Between you and Jex, you guys have already covered a lot of ground here, so I'll try to organize my thoughts.
No, because I'm against this Rusev Day being over. I just think it's a fact.
So let's start off with what's over. I think it's very subjective. I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. I would say being over is making money. If people are emotionally invested enough in your character to the point where they're spending money to see you, whether it's buying a ticket or buying merchandise or maybe subscribing to the network to see a specific person, I would say that's being over. And I do feel it's different now compared to 30 years ago where people would specifically go to an event to see Hulk Hogan. Now I feel like more people go to an event just for the sake of it being WWE. There's not really individual draws like they're used to. Now, with that being said, there are guys that are making an emotional difference with people to the point where people are spending money on those guys. And I think, Reigns is obviously making a difference with people. It might be women and children, but Reigns is moving numbers with people. And yes, he is over. Rusev, I feel, has been over as a heel. And now with the Rusev Day thing, I think he does make an emotional connection with the audience. And
what's that emotional connection other than just chanting what he said?
Well, they got
that. That's where I'm lost. I mean, I totally get it. Like, I don't hate Rusev. So if people want to thumbs down this video,
they're having a good time. They're chanting
it's the Rusev Day.
They're having a good time. They love the guy, and they're having fun. And if they're having fun, they're going to keep coming back to the shows.
But in the end, and then I'll Vito, I know you're ready for this. In the end, so Aaron, I get it. You're passionate about the, you get excited.
I'm watching SmackDown Live. I'm bored half the time watching Raw and SmackDown. When I tuned on SmackDown this week and the crowd started chanting Rusev Day, I had a huge smile on my face.
Well, where is Rusev in the card? He's with Aiden English, and he's not even number one.
I'm having a good time watching the show because Rusev is on it and the crowd's chanting Rusev Day, and it's just fun. Wrestling is supposed to be fun, and I was having fun watching it.
Okay, so I'll agree with you there. You got it. But so if we're talking of Rusev Day as fun, we're talking it's comedy. It's a comedy act. And when I see Rusev, I don't see that. I see he should be challenging AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship, not Kevin Owens, not Sami Zayn.
Potentially be a top babyface now. I think he has some momentum. He's got something here.
A baby face.
Yes, he's an ass kicker. He's an ass kicker. Just like Goldberg. He can come out there and beat people up, and people will have fun seeing him destroy people, just like Braun Strowman.
Vito, what do you think about that? I think the main topic here, you can talk about what truly being over is and Roman Reigns and stuff like that, but we've segued to Rusev Day. Go at it, my man.
So you want to be a wrestling fan. Thanks for coming to the arena and spending $39.95 for your ticket. Now, Aaron.
Yes.
With all due respect, you're talking with great emotion, okay? And you're talking from a fan's perspective because you're looking at it as a fan. And I know you're enthusiastic about wrestling, which is good. I'm not knocking you. We're co-workers, and I would never knock you. And you have a good opinion here. Okay? But when you look at it from the wrestling perspective, They're not giving this guy what he deserves. This guy was a wrecking machine. He was a cannonball. He was a knockdown, drag out number one heel in the company. They took it away from him, Rod, because they didn't listen to Vince McMahon, and Lana and him shouldn't have proposed their marriage, shouldn't have did it in public, should have kept it quiet. And if you remember, when it came out, their push went down the tubes. Yeah. They separated, and now they gave him this bullshit. He's been jobbing ever since. They brought him back. He trimmed up his body. He looked good. He cut his hair. He wasn't supposed to cut his hair. Aiden English is not a main eventer. Aiden English is a bit player. Rusev is a main eventer. They put him in this goofy gimmick. They made him, they're making like, okay, we're going to give you this. He's made it chicken soup. He's made it, the greatest thing he can. Is he going to achieve greatness? No. I've been saying this all along. He needs to go back to Lana and go back to his original persona to be great.
That has a shelf life. That has a shelf life. They did it for 2 years.
The thing is,
go ahead.
I'm going to say the definition. What you're looking for, guys, is longevity. The Miz, longevity. Cena, longevity. Kane, longevity. How many guys do we have in the company that have longevity? The Big Show is done. Mark Henry is done, but they have longevity. The guys who have longevity, you're not seeing them anymore because the Miz is not there. He's doing movies now. Cena is not there. He's often doing something else. How many guys do you have right now who are doing something great? Everybody thought Nakamura was going to be the thing. Nakamura is mid-card at best.
Yeah, he can't cut promos, and in WWE you have to.
Asuka is mid-card at best because she's going to go through the... Go ahead, say it.
Actually, I would like to address Nakamura and Asuka because I just posted a poll on NoDQ.com earlier today about the Royal Rumble. I posted 2 of them asking people who they think is going to win, and we can elaborate more on this when we do our predictions video. But
no, I tell you, because I entered in the Royal Rumble on NoDQ.com, and I put myself in there. Nobody acknowledged me, okay?
Yeah, I mean, so Nakamura and Asuka are the 2 fan favorites to win the Royal Rumble, so what do you think about that?
Fan favorites.
What's the sample size, Aaron? What's the sample size, 2,000?
Yeah, I mean, people try to say that. They say, it's just a small portion of the audience, and it doesn't really matter. So the question is, does it matter? It doesn't matter?
Finn Balor is in the same club.
Jaxie, who do you want to win the female Royal Rumble? Female perspective. And be honest, we're cool with it.
I'm totally torn between Asuka, Charlotte, and Alexa.
Okay, so you got 3 people you'd like to see there at the end. I like that. What about the men's Royal Rumble? Not Nakamura, I'm sure.
Nakamura or Finn Balor? Pete Dunne would be dope too, but that won't happen.
Not a chance.
All right, so we had.
I'll dye my hair pink if Pete Dunne wins the Royal Rumble. How about that?
All right, Vito, go on. I know we kind of sidetracked there. Go ahead.
Did she really just say Pete Dunne?
Yeah, I will dye my hair pink.
I'm just Jaxie. I had a lot of faith in you in 2017. Guys, the Royal Rumble, who would I like to see win? Okay? I would like to see somebody who wasn't given a chance yet to come out of this victorious. Charlotte is already champion. She doesn't need it. Alexa Bliss, champion. She doesn't need it. Who is somebody who could use that over-the-top push to get her over? Asuka, she's already going to an angle with Alexa Bliss, okay? Now, if you're a Wrestling 101 psychologist and you look at it, Asuka already knocked down the champ. Usually it's the other way around, so Asuka's not going to beat the champ, so it's got to be something. Who, out of all the women, there's going to be an unknown crowned champion coming out of that Royal Rumble. It's going to be somebody getting the nod. It's got to be somebody who hasn't won, who they're getting ready to push, okay? As for the guys, there are a lot of guys who deserve to get his chance and a lot of guys who might be able to run with it. Who is the best guy? Everybody says, okay, we got Bray Wyatt. They've already run and done with him, right? You have Randy Orton doesn't need it. Kane doesn't need it. Brock Lesnar doesn't need it. Nakamura, could he use it? Yes. the guy who really could really, honestly, truly win it and resurrect his career, Jinder Mahal.
Interesting. And I would not be shocked if something like that happened.
That is the guy.
I don't want to get too
champion.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to eventually do prediction videos and all that for the Royal Rumble, so I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm sure people that's the next big show, so we're already thinking with the 2 matches who's going to win each one. But yeah, what truly is over? And, hey, in Jexy's eyes, Pete Dunne could get over with a big win like
he's a very charming young man.
With a big win like Royal Rumble. But what I wanted to go back to is I just recently saw a clip. WWE posted it on their Twitter. It was from WCW. I believe it was a Nitro in '98 in the Georgia Dome. And it was when Hogan put Goldberg over for the WCW Championship. I just watched that whole scenario, how perfect Hennig came out, then Karl Malone and DDP behind him. That was laid out so, no pun intended, perfectly. And that crowd ate up. Not a chant. They weren't chanting who's next. They were feeding into the theatrics of the match. What happened to that? Remember Jake the Snake Roberts could do this, and all of a sudden the crowd would just erupt because they knew they were going to see the DDT. What happened to that philosophy, that psychology? And so to me, Goldberg, he was already over because he was getting the push, right, the undefeated streak. But Hogan put the Hogan rub onto Goldberg and made him that legit monster superstar by putting the title on.
You could
and
say
the emotion.
That. You could
Heenan's
also
emotion.
say, that match was announced at the last minute. It was originally supposed to be a dark match.
I know.
When the ticket sales were really high, Hogan decided, I'll put over Goldberg, and then, I could take credit for the big house and beating Raw in the ratings and all that stuff. Hogan was a smart man.
They ate it up,
guys,
though.
can I say
Bobby
one
Heenan
thing?
ate it up. Go ahead.
Can I say one thing? What you guys are saying, and both of you are correct, but what made that match? The longevity of these guys in the wrestling business for their persona, not for a one and done, not for a namesake, not for a chant. Their longevity as Hulk Hogan, longevity as Kevin Nash, longevity as Mr. Perfect, and everybody who was involved. That's what you had, a career of being main eventers, not the guys who are flashes in the pan. That's the difference between then and today we don't have that.
So, Vito, are you going on record? Are you calling Rusev Day the gimmick, the catchphrase, a flash in the pan?
It is a flash in the pan. I'm telling you, guys, believe me. I see Lana's going to make the save. Aiden English is going to turn on him. Lana's going to come back and save Rusev. He's going to go on to be maybe the biggest babyface in history with Lana and make a run, or he's going to go back to being the greatest heel. But I see a reunion. They're not going to run with this for much longer because Rusev, who's the guy in the movie Return to the Dragon, the guy who was the big karate guy who just did this.
Bruce Lee?
Or it was in the Van Damme movie, and he kept going like this. What was the name of the movie?
I'm having a brain block. I'm sure we're going to have people in the comments.
I don't watch movies.
It was a Van Damme movie where he was he was in the service and he went to fight the Kumite and he fought the guy with
Bloodsport, kickboxer?
There you go, Bloodsport. And when the guy like this, that's where you got the Rusev thing from. That's what he's doing now. So it's a gimmick. So now, I mean, guys, as much as you like Rusev, yeah, it's getting over. It's fun. Is it going to last? No, it's just like the New Day's handing out pancakes. Next week they're going to be throwing scrambled eggs.
But here's what I ask. Here's what I ask about Rusev. If they could do it with Jinder Mahal out of the blue after basically having a career as a jobber, and then put him in the WWE title scene for 6 months, do that with Rusev. You know what I mean? And if along the way they pushed him like that and he became a monster again and he became a baby face, and he developed his little catchphrase, I'd be okay with it then. To me, when I see people clamoring over it, but I see how they're booking him as a mid-card tag team guy right now, I'm like, okay.
I wanted to add something.
I want to see so much more. Basically, I'm not calling the fans out and you, Aaron, for cheering Rusev Day. I'm calling WWE creative and booking.
I think,
push him.
I know Vito mentioned Aiden English. I feel Aiden English is also helping this act as well. I think the singing gimmick is helping the Rusev Day chant connect with the audience, and I feel like Aiden's not getting enough credit for that.
He definitely is.
I like the act. I like the tag team act. I think it's very entertaining personally, and I want to see more of it. And maybe Rusev will have another run as a babyface or a heel. Who knows? But right now, I'm enjoying it. I'm entertained by it. And if it sells T-shirts and they're making money, then more power to them. I say it's
now, guys. What's the one thing that we talked about the pay-per-view that happened this week on SmackDown, and something I said should have happened last week when the pay-per-view happened with Fandango and the Bludgeon Brothers? Who made the save?
Oh, the Ascension. Yeah,
Ascension.
Well, Road Dogg's definitely watching NoDQ.com. I know
Thank you, because Big Vito knows booking 101. Then they go and do it.
And if Ziggler comes back in a mask, then we guarantee that's the 100%
watching
proof.
it on NoDQ. Where's residuals? We want our payday. It costs you $9.99. Join the network. I got 25 pages on there. Go, guys.
By the way, congrats, Vito, for being I selected you as the Virtue's Rage No DQ Forums Troll of the Month, the inaugural one. And it's not because you're Big Vito and I'm kissing your ass and you were in the wrestling business. It's because you accepted the invitation or you joined that page. And a lot of wrestlers, former wrestlers, don't interact, right? Like you've interacted with fans, and you are doing a hell of a job, and you're giving them everything they give you. Folks, that's why he won it, okay? So if you want to outdo Vito and win my prestigious award, then you got to go combat against Vito. So guys, congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's like, hey, guys, when I started this, right, I told everybody here, I'm a rookie. This is my first go at podcasting. I started out, and doing stuff, and I come on, and I'm on a few different shows now. I have a good time with it. You interact with the fans. Yeah, these guys are freaking making me a jobber. And that Paul Falk or Peter Falk, whatever, he's getting this shit kicked out of him in that room. And I'm like, you guys put me with this guy, and nobody likes him, right? And I post my pictures, and I say we're going to do it. I'm having a good time with it. I'm enjoying it. Thank you for giving me the award. I greatly and humbly accept it and appreciate it. I want that son of a bitch next year. I'm going for 2 months in a row.
I might do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it like quarterly or monthly, but we'll see. With that said, I'm not done yet. We got a few more minutes here, but New Year's is coming up, and I want each of us, and I know this is cliche, and maybe we don't always make this come to fruition. It's time for New Year's resolutions, and I'll break the ice here. I actually, my New Year's resolution, and it could be anything, but ever since Aaron allowed me to be on the videos, I've enjoyed it. It's a great venting, gets you away from your, everyday, your personal stuff, and it's just great. We're, wrestling fans. Vito's in the business. I do a little bit of indie stuff. I got a show coming up near Cleveland, which I'll plug at the end, but I want to write more columns. Since I started doing videos, I'm doing a lot of videos, and it's cool, it's fun, it's easy. But I wrote, I love writing. I like getting my point across with words. So my New Year's resolution is to write more sophisticated wrestling columns because I know there's a small crowd out there that enjoys them. So I just wanted to get that out there. I'm hoping that me saying this now will actually make me write a column a week like I used to. Jexy, any New Year's resolutions for yourself, for the NoDQ Galaxy? Go ahead.
I have gym goals. I'm been doing a lot of strength training, so I would like to be able to get presses up to about the 160 range. Cardio for in-ring, continue training, more experiences, whatever they would be.
Nice. That's more than I can do, and I should use you as inspiration. I love that. That was a great answer. Vito, any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions. I would like to do more podcasts with different groups. I would also like to do more appearances and maybe manage and be involved in indie wrestling, because I think I could help out a lot of people behind the scenes, help training, help do things, because I know the people out there. I know a lot of wrestlers watch these things, and I know a lot of people are involved. And I'd like to come out to people's different hometowns. I'd like to spend a few days and do some stuff. And I'm not talking about guys, everybody see me on here, and they know I'm not just here to make a dollar, because we are not getting paid here. I'm doing this on my own time. I enjoy doing this stuff. I interact with everybody. I'm having a good time. But if I could share my knowledge on a one-on-one basis or in a group, That would be my thing for next year, is to do more personal appearances and more seminars, to get out there and more of a social and business aspect. Help wrestlers like Jexy, help the guys in NoDQ, help guys who actually need the help and want the help and want to train and listen. I'll be more than happy to help you. And you can't get any better than a guy who's been everywhere in the business and willing to share it, because a lot of guys don't do it today. They're very closed off. They don't participate. They think like you're going to steal something. You know what, guys? If you could take my experience and make it in the wrestling business, hey, go and see the world. Go enjoy things. Go and do your thing. Look what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying interacting with you guys. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? So if you can go from the top to the bottom to the top to podcasting and being an interviewer and an analysis, you've come full circle. But always remember, guys, at the end of the day, you got to be yourself.
Good answer, Vito. And we enjoy having you on here, and
Absolutely.
You know that.
It's been
Aaron,
blessed.
I'm interested. What is your New Year's resolution?
not
Does it have
really-
anything to do with Rusev?
I'm not really a resolutions person, because I feel like people make resolutions and then break them all the time. I feel like every day should be a resolution. Every day you should strive to be the best person possible, have a positive attitude, love your life, have fun, laugh, and every day that's a goal of mine. I'm always trying to make the most out of the day, make money, have fun doing things, meet people, make new connections. In 2018, looking forward to making it the best year possible, one day at a time.
Another great answer. You guys are the best. All right, it's closing time. I mean, I've had fun. I really have. I could do this. I could I could do this another hour, but we'll be back again next week. So with that said, Jexy, ladies first. Any plugs you'd like to get out there?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JexyRocks. But I would also like to say happy birthday to Joni China Lauer, who, even though she is gone, it would have been her birthday today. I love you. I miss you very much. And go ahead.
Yeah, I saw your post, Jexy. Very, very well said about her. And hopefully she'll get the Hall of Fame induction one of these days. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or whenever, but it's definitely long overdue in my opinion. So I just wanted to say, happy birthday to her. And Vito, go ahead.
Oh, well, if you guys haven't caught my Christmas video from this year, go ahead on my Twitter, and that's at the Big Vito Brand. Go to my YouTube. It's at the Big Vito Brand. We also have Facebook at the Big Vito Brand. I have my website, bigvito.com. I have a couple jackets up there. I have an Amazon list. You have all the social media stuff. Guys, go on there. If you need me for a personal appearance, for booking, for seminars, for anything, check it out. I'm here with a great group, the NoDQ guys, and we're going for 7,000 views this week. Catch me on Getting Color. Catch me with the Super Ugly Boys. Catch me with Big Josh. Catch me with the producer, Noel. Catch me all over the place. Teen Moms and Happening New Show. And I hope everybody gets a chance to one day be with Podcast One for all the young journalists and analysts out there. And if you get the chance to be on a show like that, kudos to you. You got to put in the work. Got to put in the time. Somebody will recognize it. So, guys, those should be your aspirations and those should be your things. I know I'm spreading a lot of joy here. That's because I just went head-to-head with the NoDQ guys. Erroneous, Mr. Potter. I love that guy. He's my favorite heel of all time. So you want to be on the NoDQ panel and chant Rusev Day.
Oh, this is good work.
Go ahead,
and of course,
guys.
Vito has T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, and
Buy 'em.
he's a sponsor of Collar and Elbow, so all that good stuff. And Aaron, you have the NoDQ stuff.
Yep, NoDQ stuff on ProWrestlingTees.com. Search NoDQ or check out the link in the description box. You see the NoDQ design right there from Jexy, and make sure you buy Big Vito's stuff. Definitely show him some love and support. Check out his website and keep trolling Virtue. Tell him Rusev Day is the best thing ever. Go on NoDQ_Virtue and let him know that it's Rusev Day.
Yep, and Aaron just told you my Twitter handle. January 14th. If you live near Cleveland, Ohio, I will be at UXWA, which is somewhat affiliated to Mega Wrestling and AIW Wrestling. It's called Too Legit to Quit. And Virtue and Virtue's Rage will have his army. I will be at ringside during a match. So please, if you need tickets, I can get you a discount. Private message me, tweet me,
Jexy,
email
you should
me.
go if you can make it, unless it's like 6 degrees and snowing and it's impossible.
You can email me at fowvirtue@gmail.com. Again, that's fowvirtue@gmail.com. But we want to put, a couple hundred people in this nice little gym. It's going to be off the hook. One day we'll try to get Vito out here near
I would
Cleveland.
love to. Do they still have the flats in Cleveland?
Yes, they do, and LeBron James has been helped a little bit to rebuild it back up.
I heard about that. That's why I said that, because years ago when I used to come to Cleveland all the time, I used to go down and I had the best time in those clubs, man. That was some good times. And I'm not talking about anything bad, guys. Yeah. I'm talking about dancing, some good music, some adult beverages for those who can drink. So, it was a good time, and I enjoyed it down there.
Unfortunately, I'm like CM Punk, so that doesn't really work out too well for me.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to the promoters, and if we can get you out to UXWA, Mega, or AIW, I'm going to try my hardest, Vito.
I'm going to tell you what it's going to cost you. I'm going to say it's a hotel that's clean and doesn't have any dirtiness. It's a plane ticket, and I will work with your budget. So it ain't killing nobody. So if you guys tell me, hey, Vito, we got this, hey, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I am, because I ain't trying to kill nobody. I'm not trying to do anything where you're going to rip people off, because we just don't have the money out there in the economy. Yeah. But
Eric Bischoff charging like $4,000 type deal.
Bro. You want to know what it is for me? If I get out and I mess with you guys and we go out and we do our thing, and then afterwards we go to wherever you guys go to eat and grab something to eat, have a good time. That's what it's about. It's not talking about making all this money and being some big-ass superstar. Because if I was a big-ass superstar, would I be doing this show?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm regular folk just like you guys. I'm down to earth. That's why we have a successful show. That's why everybody gets along, because all the egos are checked out the door. You know what I mean? And I'm playing fourth fiddle here. You got Jexy, you got Aaron, you got the stud here from the Alpha Club. You know what I mean? So we're all doing our thing.
Thank you, Vito. I appreciate that. And I will have the flyer tweeted and on my Facebook for the information. So with that said, thank you, NoDQ Galaxy. Thank you, Jexy, Aaron, Vito. We will be back. NoDQ Panel, out.